thinking about my teenage years. Police involved story. When I was about 15, I was a troublemaker headed down a bad route in life. Thankfully, I have my life together now, as a 21-year-old married and stable. Anyway, I used to have a friend who was much older than me, like he was 38 or so. He said, might have been older. I became friends with him through an app, and I pretty much used him for buying me weed and pills for literally nothing in return, but just hanging out like best friends. We'd listen to music together, go on drives, he'd buy me any food I wanted from any food place, and just simply hang out. He would never smoke with me or do anything. Occasionally, he would smoke a cigar around me, and that's all. He told me he worked in healthcare. Thinking back to one occasion makes me think, was this dude an undercover cop? So I'd ask him to teach me how to drive a bit, and he'd let me drive his truck in parking lots. Well, one day I had taken a pill and was being really pushy about wanting to drive in the roads. He kept saying like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea. Well, I was telling him he was lame and all that. So he actually let me. And then a cop turned on their lights behind us, and I just kept driving, and he told me to pull over. I ended up pulling into someone's driveway. He got out, went up to the cop car before they could even come to the truck. He spoke to the cops, and they just left. Weird. I definitely looked young to be driving, and I fucked up in some way for them to pull me over, but they just let it go. I don't see how that would happen at all, without them even coming to the driver's side window or anything. I was stressed. I knew I had pills with me, and I was probably about to get in big trouble being high driving with no permit or license and having paraphernalia on me. But nothing. He would buy me weed in dispensaries, but we would meet with my dealers to get my Xanax. I remember one occasion I was going to get pills he was paying for from a dealer that went by the name Piggy. I remember him asking me a couple times what his name was, and I'd just say, Piggy, and he'd laugh at it. I might have told his real name once and met him on the street he lived on to get the pills. He ended up getting arrested not long after that for selling pills. I never thought anything of it until I'm thinking back to it now. Just thought of more. Editing to add in. One day I was mad at him for some odd reason. I can't remember. I told him to drop me off where I was because I was so mad at him. And I was on the phone with my friend, and she said she was talking to a dude with a car and he could give me a ride home. Probably. Well, I ended up taking that ride, and he ended up bringing me to his house to chill for a bit before he took me home. He gave me an opened alcoholic seltzer. He opened in his kitchen and brought me, which must have had a roofie in it, because I was super fucked up after drinking it, and he ended up raping me. I just remember crying, telling him to get off of me. Well, I didn't hang out with the possible undercover cop for a while after that, because I was very upset for the situation I was in after things going wrong the day we were hanging out. And so finally, I went to hang out with him, and I was crying to him, telling him about the situation that happened after the last time we hung out and were mad at each other. He used to pick me up at my house all the time. And later that week, actual undercover cops came to my house asking me about when I got raped. I was like, how the hell would they even know about this? They said one of my friends, the guy I hung out with also knew, called the cops about it. I know she did not. Weird, huh? Well, that's my story, lol.